Hey, you! Welcome back to Mick. It's your favorite Aussie tea drinker, Jack here, giving you some more stories on the internet, and here's today's bundle. As always, if you enjoy your time here, leave a like on the video and show me some love. For now though, shut down, sit up, and relax that booty as I serenade you with some drama. First story is a throwaway and a two-parter. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to share a room with stepbrother anymore after he came out? My dad got married a year ago. His wife moved in with her son, who's the same age as me, 16. It's a two-bedroom house, so Steven moved into my room too. It didn't bother me before because I was mostly with my mum and dad only on weekends. My mum got called out of state for work and she's not gonna be back for months. So I'm now with him full time. I've met Steven a few times, but now being here all the time, I noticed weird stuff. There's a bathroom in my room and he literally gets out naked every single time, even when I was already in the room before he went in. I always tell him, "What the frick?" And he says sorry, but always does it. Now, I just leave the room when he showers. When I play video games, he'll come sit right next to me and like we're pressed right against each other. There's more space on the couch, so it bothers me that he does that. Other times, he'll be talking to me and put his hand right on my lap, but like, not move it. I don't know, it's weird for me because I don't like being touched, but he's always super touchy with me no matter how many times I tell him I hate it. What's made it really uncomfortable is when I change or something in the room. He straight up watches me, and it creeps me out. So now I go do that in the bathroom too. It's always weird when he's around, and I just don't like it. And he always wants to be around me. He came out 2 months ago, and now some stuff makes sense. It's more awkward because I feel like he's into me or something. Still stares if he comes in when I'm changing my clothes, but acts like he wasn't. Gets naked around me when he's changing. Okay, so I told my dad I don't want to share my room with him anymore and said why. My dad doesn't think it's wrong the way he is, but let me turn the basement downstairs into my own room when I asked him. It was a TV room we never used, and it had lots of space for my bed and all my other stuff. Steven's mad now that I don't want to share a room with him. He says I'm being homophobic, cause what a coincidence. I'm only doing it now after he came out. His mum is mad too and thinks I'm overreacting because boys change in locker rooms together all the time, so that shouldn't make me uncomfortable. She says too that I'm being weird only because he's gay. But I don't know, I was always uncomfortable in locker rooms too. Plus, he straight up walks around naked in front of me, which I don't like. It's tense at home with them both saying I'm being homophobic, and Steven says I'm hurting his feelings not wanting to share that space anymore. I didn't like any of the stuff he was doing even before he came out, but now I'm just fed up with it. Knowing that he's gay just made me start to wonder if it was all being done on purpose. So I don't know, am I being the a-hole? So that was the original post. Do you think they're the a-hole in this circumstance? The stepbrother's behavior is definitely alarming, but of course it's very easy for this kind of story to be biased. I mean, sure, he's gay, but he could also just be very comfortable in himself. And while you're someone who isn't comfortable with touch, he's someone who expresses friendship and affection through that way. Regardless, end of the day, you are uncomfortable. But you didn't mention much effort creating a boundary towards this behavior. And for that, I kinda have to say you've brought this on yourself with your actions. But before we jump to more conclusions, let's read the update. It was a unanimous nata, by the way. So thanks everyone for supporting me through this, cause I felt like I was losing it with everyone at home, making me feel like poop. It helped a lot that people understood what I was dealing with and didn't make me feel bad for feeling the way I do. Some comments were saying I needed to tell my mum about what was going on, and since she didn't know, even though I felt bad about it. A day after I posted, I told her. First, about the way Steven was acting with me, and then how they were all giving me poop about being homophobia since I decided to move out of my room after he came out. She was ticked the frick off. She told me to put my dad on and I could hear her yelling at him from the phone when I gave it to him. My dad wasn't happy, and they were arguing for like a half hour. But he said he was sorry for not really doing much for me about Steven, and my mum says she doesn't want me there. Cause of Steven, and also doesn't like that I'm sleeping in the basement, and doesn't know if it's even safe for me down there since it's an old basement. So my mum told me she wants me over there with her, but only if I want to. School is online, and I don't see any of my friends anyway, so it wouldn't be a big deal if I stayed with her. I talked to my dad, and then to my mum. He was mad that I wanted to go with her, but he didn't tell me anything else. She drove all the way back here and picked me up on Thursday. Been here at the hotel she's staying at since Friday. It's more chill, to be honest. I'm here alone most of the time since my mum has to work all day, so I like the privacy. I've talked to my dad and he says they're going to talk to Stephen. I don't know how that's gonna go when my stepmom was still all defensive about him when I left. We'll see, I guess. I don't know for how long we'll be here. I think another 2 to 3 months, but at least I'm not there at my dad's or right now with all those uncomfortable vibes. So a somewhat happy resolution, but with some cliffhangers to keep the second season exciting. What do you think, though? You think things will turn all peachy? I do believe that Stephen here is, performing some rather toxic behavior. Like, sure, he's still kind of really just a boy growing up, but, I mean, let's be fair, he is committing levels of sexual harassment here. If anything, it's great that he's doing this now, so he can be pointed out about how wrong it is now, rather than in his mid-20s. Always try to make as many mistakes as possible when you're young, kids. Except when it comes to using protection. Yep. I'm not the best at advice. Next story. Am I the a-hole for evicting my ex even though she has cancer? I am 24, while she is 22. I do have the ability to legally evict her. I went into a courthouse and they decided on giving her 60 days, which is frankly a bit too much. I do think of myself as a pretty nice guy, but I'm pretty callous to people who betrayed me. She slept with another guy on New Year's Eve, and everything came downhill from there. She found out that she had breast cancer around 3 weeks ago, and she says that treatment is already getting pretty expensive. Her parents live on the opposite side of the world, and so do most of her close friends. She says that she can't find a place to leave during quarantine, while having no money, and during winter. I honestly don't care about her concerns. I only have a legal obligation to let her stay, and her time is up. I'm pretty sure she's still on my property, and if she does trespass for enough time, I'll just call the county sheriff. I just floated a bit to my friends, and I guess it's spread to some of our mutual friends. They're thinking I'm the biggest a-hole ever, evicting a woman with breast cancer with no place to stay during winter? But they always leave out the part that she made out with another dude. So I just want to get a neutral perspective. Am I the a-hole? People's thoughts? Yes, you're the a-hole. Kicking out a sick woman with no place to go in the middle of winter is simply inhumane. It was only a kiss. How did it end up like this? Okay, goddammit, that's a lyric, isn't it? That is a song lyric. Nata, a terrible person who gets cancer is still the same terrible person, just sicker. She doesn't get a free pass because of it. Now you both suck. She cheated, and you want to throw a cancer patient into the snow. You can't come off well here. Yeah, look, if you truly don't care about her concerns, then why did you even mention anything about her cheating or cancer? Either she is a good tenant or not. Since the courts ruled for eviction after 60 days, I will say not a good tenant and nata. Everything else is butthurt emotions that have nothing to do with residency. I think the severity of the a-hole here really depends on what exactly she did when she cheated. Because in the first half, they mentioned that she slept with someone else, and in the end bit, he mentions that she made out. If it's both, then yeah, double whammy. But I do know in some relationships, making out with another person spontaneously like that, especially in some cultures, can be considered as friendly as just holding hands or cuddling each other. Of course, your culture, though, doesn't invalidate your partner's feelings of being betrayed or cheated on. And if anything, if your partner's gonna disrespect you like this, well, your cold shoulder really is all on her. And in regards to tenancy, look, if she's being a bad tenant, then absolutely, you have every right to evict her. But if the only reason you're trying to evict her is because she broke your heart, mate, I'm sorry, and I know this is a weird thing for me to say despite what I've just said, but you are being so immature. Again, providing she's actually going to be paying rent and that she is not a terrible tenant who's tearing down the place, you're trying to kick someone out who, let's be honest, has pretty much been dealt the bad hand here as well. Yeah, she broke your heart, but dude, she has cancer now. I don't think she needs any more punishment, man. If she can still pay for the place, you'd be an a-hole to kick her out. I mean, come on, man. Free money from your ex, hell yeah. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister that if she really wants to get a more attractive guy, she should hit the gym? Ooh, Reddit's gonna love you! My sister is 32 years old, has 2 children from previous relationships. She has never been married, and works as a recruiting coordinator. I generally stay out of her dating life and don't ask questions, but we have been talking a lot more since I've been babysitting a lot for her. She was telling me how brutal the dating market has been. Now, my sister has really high standards of what she wants in a guy. She wants him to be tall, has a good job, well-traveled, same political beliefs as her, be a good step-parent, good in bed. All of this has just led her to going on dates with guys with 30 other women they are also seeing. She has been talking about doing a lot of really manipulative things, like playing games, etc., to get the guys more into her. I told her that it's no way to start a long-term relationship. Instead, if she wants to do more, she should hit the gym more. My sister and her friends flipped out on me, saying that I am terrible for thinking that way, that she has so much more to give than her body, and that how would I know anything that men find her really attractive as is, or they wouldn't be hooking up with her. I just backed off now, but my sister and her friends think less of me. I don't see what I said was wrong. I mean, tough love, but not wrong.
Oh, gee, I wonder what people are going to say about this.
Nata, if she's unhealthy and you genuinely think that's part of the issue she's having, she has a physical standard as well, which is for men to be tall. It's such a double standard that women can say they want a tall man, but as soon as a man wants a woman who's in decent shape, oh, there's a problem. Now everyone sucks here. Physical appearance only goes so far in a real relationship, which she could be 100% of a man's fantasy physically, and if their personality, morals, lifestyle aren't compatible, the relationship will die. If your sister's expecting perfection in a man, she's going to be alone forever. Yeah, look, your sister's the a-hole for her standards. Everyone, no matter how they look, can have their own preferences for their own things they are genuinely attracted to. But manipulating a guy into liking her seems like an a-hole move. You are also an a-hole for directly linking getting a guy to having a better body. Talk to her about how she is approaching the relationships. Listen to her, and if she wants, give her some feedback on the manipulation part. Keep your comments about physical attributes to yourself. Okay, so your sister wants a good guy measured by what he would bring in a partnership. You...
Guys won't give a poop about you if you have a hot bod.
Yeah, you're the a-hole here. Your sister is looking for a healthy partnership, not to match with some fitness model who has starved herself down to 2% body fat. Now, there are actually a lot of yatas in this comment section, obviously pointing out that, yeah, you're the a-hole for really just dialing it all down to her being physically fit or not. But, I mean, in your defense, you did say, at least in your post, that if she wanted to do more, she could go to the gym more. Personally, with him saying more and going to the gym more, I personally interpret that as someone saying, hey, why not try to add a bit more effort into this part of your dating resume? It's not that you're currently undesirable, because you clearly are getting dates still. But if you are wanting something more, in my personal opinion, this is what I perceive as something you could try and advance a bit more in. Of course, I'm a guy. I'm biased in the fact that such feedback is kind of the norm for me. If you want a desirable girl, go to the gym more. Grind at a better job. Get a better car. But I also think comparing guys and girls' experiences in dating right now isn't exactly the point of this issue. Look, I think what you said was tough love. It was also quite truthful. Men just generally are going to take more notice of a girl who is more physically attractive. To what degree a woman has to attain that physical attraction? Well, I think the beauty industry and media itself has absolutely blown that standard out of proportion. Ask any guy who isn't a closeted porn addict what their ideal body fat percentage is, and I guarantee you it is far more than 2%. I think your advice was definitely unwarranted and really doesn't help the main issue of the situation. It seems she's more so finding someone just to fill a position. And to be fair, I can understand that, having 2 kids. But trying to develop a genuine relationship with someone while at the same time, in the back of your head, you're thinking about their financial suitability and if they'd be a good parent for the kids. Yeah, that is tough to develop something genuine while not just treating it like a job interview. It makes me pop the question, if she didn't have those kids, would she still be looking for a partner? Like seriously, aside from affection and kinky times, what true reason does she need a partner for? In fact, ask that question yourself. And if you answer anything relevant to, oh, it makes me happier, or, oh, I'm so lonely, then you must definitely not be in a relationship. Unless you're into a little bit of Stockholm Syndrome, then yeah, sure, you be Belle from Beauty and the Beast. I've really rambled here, but basically, she clearly didn't feel like getting shame advice at the time, and what you said sounds more confronting than constructive. Were you really trying to help, or were you passive-aggressively venting about your annoyance towards her complaints? Next story. Am I the a-hole for wanting my girlfriend to do more currently in her life? Let me start by stating some background. We have been dating for 10.5 months. I'm 25 years old, and she's 22. When we first met, It was right on the onset of COVID. When I matched with her, we clicked instantly and started dating shortly after. She was sweet, funny, fun, and beautiful inside and out. Fast forward to now, and I still think of all of this of her. We both have a lot of the same love languages. We both enjoy enough similar hobbies. She is also currently not working and is living with her parents. Her parents are fairly well off, so they do not mind her living at home, and actually rather enjoy it from my understanding. Now, I am currently working remotely at home, a very relaxed job, so I'm with her almost all of the time. She doesn't do much of anything while I'm working every day or all day, besides her hobby, watch TV, nap, hang out with her dog, and play games on her phone. Even normal, everyday tasks take her forever to do, like laundry, cleaning, etc. I mean, she has career goals, but just isn't pursuing them, and hasn't been the whole time we've been dating. She basically wants to get back into acting, which she used to do when she was a teenager for several years. I believe, based off her past, that she would be able to accomplish this. However, right now she is not. My girlfriend had a ton of childhood trauma. When we first started dating, she had just dropped out of college to essentially begin a healing journey to try to heal herself from the trauma she went through because, well, she was having a hard time at college. Her plan was to start therapy, which didn't end up happening because she wanted to do it in person, but recently realized that isn't likely to happen soon with COVID, so she started virtually a few weeks ago. Her therapy is going well, but it hasn't helped yet with motivating her to do more. I understand that her lack of motivation is essentially coming from depression, but I'm having a hard time ignoring this and not seeing it as a red flag. She doesn't really have any commitments to anything that would force her to work or be productive. So in the sense, she isn't ignoring any responsibilities, but in my opinion, she could still be doing things like walking her dog more, making more meals, researching things she wants to do, etc. Her mum also does so much for her, things that she should be doing, like basically babies her. She has all this free time and seems to just be wasting it. If I had this time, I'd be exploring, learning, keeping areas clean for my significant other. Instead, what she usually does is really simple things she asks me for help with while I'm in the middle of my workday. I usually just help because it takes a minute, but I don't understand why she can't just do these simple things herself. I've brought up my feelings regarding all of this in a very sweet, trying to help way a few times, but her response was not good. Am I the a-hole for wanting her to do something other than what she currently does? People's thoughts. You're the a-hole. Your depressed, traumatized girlfriend can decide for herself what she feels capable of doing in a day, especially when everyone is dealing with the pandemic. If you don't want to date someone with low motivation, then break up with her. Don't try to badger her into being more the person you wish she was. No a-holes here, but you can't change other people. It sounds like you went into this relationship thinking that she would get better or that you would make her better. That's not happening. Your girlfriend needs to do this on her own. If you don't like this, I probably wouldn't either, then you shouldn't be with her. Their intentions are good, but I fear this is also the same trait as someone who forces another to change to the way they like them. They have this fantasy of their ideal partner's behavior and personality traits, and so if they go slightly out of line, then no, we've got to fix that. And look, it can be tricky though to discover whether or not the person is being like that, or because they know you and just love you so dearly, I'm just giving you some tough love and telling you to just snap out of it. Problem is, of course, you need to know your partner well enough to know how to approach them about this kind of behavior. Look, I think you're totally valid to be concerned about your partner's motivation, and your desire to see her more driven, and encouraging that is nothing to be shamed for. But I agree with some of the comments saying that this is her taking time to heal and recover herself. I think this laziness you're perceiving is really just her going through her healing journey. Besides, aside from the mother babying her a bit, I don't see how this affects you much in any way. Maybe her tardiness a few years down the track if you move in together, but this is all under the assumption that she's completely lost any motivation for the rest of her life. Look, I'm going to agree with no a-holes here, because technically he hasn't actually pushed her into doing anything yet. He's just asking if his thoughts are in the right place. Next story. kicked Grandma out of my house and told her not to talk to me over religion. I've been getting blown up by my family, calling me awful names, and being told I'm a horrible person, and it's really making me depressed. Now, let me preface this by saying I am a Jewish convert. I was raised as a devout Catholic and converted to Judaism. I'm also Hispanic, so absolute respect for your elders is seen as proper. This is important for later. All throughout my conversion, I've been judged by my family. And I even got phone calls from family members I don't even talk to about to tell me how wrong I am. My grandma, maternal, in particular, has been very harsh about it, which hurts because I love her dearly. Last Saturday, she came to my house suddenly, and she came right before my mincha, afternoon prayer. So I let her know she was welcome to join or simply observe. I was hoping it would help her better understand Judaism. She sat there and observed me, and when I was done, she started telling me how it seemed wrong, and that me speaking in dark languages, which was just Hebrew, seemed evil. We got in a huge argument, and she left, and I thought it was the end of it. Anyway, just yesterday, while I was tidying up my house, around 3 p.m., I heard a knock, and through the peephole saw that it was my grandma, and another woman I didn't know. After I let them in and we chatted, I found out the lady was someone my grandma went to church with. We chatted for 15 minutes or so. My grandma and her friend get up, and my grandma says, "Get ready, we're going to mass." I'm at this point frustrated, but as nicely as I can, I remind her that I'm Jewish and I'm not changing my mind. Well, of course, this turns into another argument where several anti-Semitic slurs and sentiments are spewed, so I kick her out. I tell her to leave my house and never talk to me again. I've been getting phone calls all day today that I'm a horrible person. So am I an a-hole? Comments? Grandmas get some leeway. I don't agree with my grandma on almost anything religious or political, but it's better to just pick your battles with family like that. You seem to be comfortable trading family members for pride. All religions are made up by man. We shouldn't let imaginary beings disrupt relationships. That's what politics is for. Well, there is a lot to unpack. She was extremely disrespectful towards your religion. She's an a-hole for even bringing someone over to drag you to church. Not to mention the slurs. You were being patient with her. I also believe in respect your elders, but she crossed a line. You're not the a-hole for standing your ground. I mean, honestly, you both believe in God. If she can't be respectful, then she doesn't deserve respect. So is Grandma in the clear, or is she a villain? Oh, who are we kidding? Of course she's a villain here. She's the one shoving her religion down the granddaughter's throat like a Catholic priest's penis, and made crude comments about her religion. You didn't attack her, you just stood your ground, and you did a good job at it too. You're not the a-hole, and all your family members are toxic. Your wrinkly skin doesn't shield your opinions from criticism. Anyway, let's wrap things up there. How did you go? I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please leave a like and show your appreciation. Listening to my outro voice, clearly you must have. We've got more stories on the channel for you to check out if you've got the time. I try to share these stories with you as often as I can, but for now it is time to say farewell. My name has been Jack. You've been a lovely person. Love your face as always, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.